Hey everybody, it's Amy Gretchen. Thank you so much for joining me today. So in this video, I'm working on another Project Life process video, and this is actually from the year 2021, and this is week 7. And I'm actually going to be using Studio Calico's Lots of Love kit. This came out in February, and I love this kit. I think I'm a really big fan of all February kits because I tend to really love the colors. I'm really craving those colors this time of year when it's so gray outside. And so I'm just a really big fan. So I'm not entirely sure why I'm posting this one first because I did two weekly spreads using this kit, and this is the second one that I did. So I did use some of the other cards and things that were in the kit in the first video I did, which will come out, I don't know, probably next week or maybe later this week. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't necessarily scheduled that all out. But I'm using the Documenter kit, and that comes with a bunch of cards, chipboard, stickers, letter stickers. And then I'm also using the Traveler's Notebook kit. So you'll see that the stamp set that I used, that came from the Traveler's Notebook kit. The Documenter kit did have a stamp that came with it as well, but I did not end up using it for this. And I'm trying to think what else. I think the chipboard came from the Documenter kit, but I'll let you know as we go along. But I really love that the kits are not identical, but they do definitely go together, and I really enjoy that. Although the cards are pretty much the same designs as the notebook that you get in the Traveler's Notebook. But other than that, the embellishments are different and they all fit together. And I really, really like that about their kits. All right, so I'm just looking through the remainder of the cards that I have and trying to determine how many spots I need for journaling and then for designer cards as well. And then I'm just looking through some of the embellishments to kind of give me an idea for the feel for, this week and how it's going to be laid out. So one of the things I was thinking about as I was choosing the cards is the spread didn't seem very cohesive. Now, of course, I'm just getting started, right? But I felt like I really needed something to tie it in. And often you can do that with embellishments, which is why I was looking through some of the chipboard pieces. But when I saw the stamp set, I was like, oh, I think this stamp set could really help to bring this whole spread together. And it had circles, and then it had, I think, 6 different designs to go inside the circles, and you'll see as I start stamping them. So one of the things that you're going to see a lot is this stamp set. So I end up doing it in white, and then you'll see that I end up doing it on some of the cards as well, just because the white seemed a little too stark. But you can see that there are 6 different designs, and I thought that they would not only be good on top of a photo, but also a really great journaling jump off point. So one of them I think says, make stuff. And on one of the cards, I was actually talking about what I was making or something creative that I was doing. And so I ended up putting it on that card. So that's kind of what I was thinking as, which sentiment would go well with which photo and which would go well with some of the journaling, which is a really good jumping off point for some of my journaling. So those are some of the things I was thinking, but I think I ended up stamping all 6, and I believe I only use 5. And I can't now remember I don't think I used the lucky one, but I think I use everything else. So this is the point where I was saying, where I'm just kind of thinking what would be good on the photos, what would be good on some of the journaling. So that's what I'm thinking of as I'm putting these around. I'm also trying to create some visual triangles. One thing that's really great about embellishments, especially if they're similar in some way, either similar color or similar design, like this is a very similar design, is it really helps take the viewer through the spread, because your eyes like almost jumping from one of the embellishments to another because it can recognize it. So that's one of the reasons why it's kind of nice to have these visual triangles, because it really helps the viewer to not get lost. It almost creates an anchor for the viewer as they're maneuvering or as they're going through the layout. So anyway, I just think it's always a really great thing to do. And subconsciously, I think that I'm always thinking about it as I'm working on my spread. And in fact, this might be something that you actually do and not even know why you do it, because it just feels good. And that's the one thing that's really cool about design and some of the design rules, where you don't necessarily need to obey all of the rules, but you will often do them subconsciously, not even realizing, because it just looks better that way and it just feels better that way. So a lot of times when I am putting something together, I am just going off of feel. And then in the end, I realize, oh yeah, there's like a design principle behind that. And that's the reason why I ended up choosing that over something else. So anyway, let's move on to what I'm doing on the screen. So I grabbed over these letter stickers. So this actually came with the Traveler's Notebook. There was one that came with the Documenter kit, but they were a different color of pink. And I liked that this one was a little bit more coral, because I think, you know, a lot of the cards and stuff that I chose just worked better with that color. So that's why I chose those letter stickers. And I'm using the ruler to kind of help me put this down, because it is so hard to put, I feel that it's so hard to put the letter stickers onto the photos, because the photos I'm printing with Epson PM400 and they are a little sticky. I mean, they're not sticky to the touch, but I feel like when you're putting stickers and stuff on them, like once you put something down, it is 100% stuck. So I really wanted them to be, you know, to go on straight. So it's just so helpful to when you're doing a longer word. Now, if I was just doing a 3-letter word, I probably would not futz with it at all and not worry about it. But because I was, you know, doing so many letters, I used the ruler to kind of help me space them out and then put them onto the photo. So it was at this point that I was realizing I don't love those stamp pieces in white, and I wanted them to have a little bit of dimension. So you've seen me do this in a lot of other projects that I've worked on, where I want my pieces to look a little bit more like chipboard and to have some dimension and to be thick. It makes it a little bit more substantial. So you'll see that I'll end up cutting more circles out and adhering them together. But it's at this point where I'm like, oh, the white is just really sticking out, and I didn't love it. So that's when I will, I grab over some of the other cards and I start stamping again. I don't know if I do that right now. Obviously I'm messing around. I'm still trying to decide what to do, because I know that I've got one more card left. And a part of it is just trying to think about, do I have all the stories? Do I have enough spots for all the stories that I want to tell? Or do I need more spots, or can I do like more of a filler card? So that's another thing that I'm thinking of as, you know, I'm moving things around, as I'm grabbing cards, as I'm, you know, trying to shift and that sort of a thing. So, and I'm looking at, those are some of the puffy stickers that came in the Traveler's Notebook kit. I was thinking of, you know, making a card, just making a card with one of those puffy stickers, a journaling card. But I do ultimately decide that that everyday stamp, that would be a good one to have be like a jumping off point. So this is when I'm going to re-stamp. So again, like I said, you're going to end up seeing me stamp this a couple of times, because I will do it on another card as well. I really like this pink with the polka dots, but this card just wasn't something that I was likely going to use. And so I decided that I should use the open spot, because why not use all of the pieces that you absolutely can? So I just thought of, you know, 3 of the stamps that, you know, were kind of spaced out evenly in the spread, and decided that I would use those. And so my thought was, and in fact, I'm thinking the ones that were going to be on the photo, I was thinking that I would just keep those white, and then some of the other ones, the other 3 I would make pink. But once I've done it with the pink, I realize, oh yeah, the white really stands out, and I would like to do a different color. So you'll see me do that in just a minute. But now I'm just trying to get that journaling card together, and I'm going to start punching more of the circles so that I can, like I said, make this more of like a chipboard feel. I think doing this with circles is the easiest thing because it just comes together really, really, really easy, and you don't have to fiddle with it too much. But I do love adding that extra dimension, just so it just doesn't feel very flat. It feels a little bit more substantial. All right, so I think I'm just going to cut a few more out. And then after this, this is probably where I end up cutting more. So I apologize. I did decide to leave all the stamping in because I just thought maybe you guys would find it interesting. I will tell you, I did edit out. I cleaned my hands after every time because I literally was getting ink all over because you're taking off the stamps and putting the new stamps on, and I was getting ink all over my hands. So in between each time, I do clean my hands. I just wanted to let you guys know that. So if you're gonna do the same, you may want to clean your hands. I do, when I stamp the title card, and you'll see that I actually make a smudge because I had ink on my finger. So anyway, but I do end up cleaning my hands in between. I just edited that out so you wouldn't have to sit through it. So anyway, that is going to be the last of the stamp. No, I think I do one more stamp because I actually really liked this orange a lot. And the happy day that's on top of the snow day, that was the same color as the letters. And I wanted there to be a little bit of contrast. I didn't just want it to be pink on pink. So you'll see that I end up doing it one more time. So this is going to be the last time that I do this stamp. But I really liked this stamp set a lot. And the punch that I'm using is, I'm not entirely sure of the brand, but I will have it linked below if I can find it, or I will have some brand. It is 1 1/8 inch. So 1 1/8, there's a 1 1/4. Whatever it is, I think it's 1 1/8. I will have it linked down below. But anyway, it fit perfectly, the 1 1/8. So I think the stamp is actually a 1-inch circle. And so having the 1/8 just gave me a little bit of a border around it, which I really liked. All right, so this is where I'm doing the title card. I'm actually just going to add the dates on it. I don't do anything more than that, but you can see that I made a smudge, which, that's going to happen from time to time. It's not a big deal. I did actually edit it out of the video, or excuse me, I did edit it out of the pictures just because, I can. So I did. But it does not bother me that it's there, in real life. It's going to be fine. Not that big of a deal. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stack all the circles on top of one another. I believe I did 2 extra circles and then the actual, stamped version. And then some of them I will leave as a circle like this one, and some of them I will cut to fit, like this one that says Best Buds. I end up cutting that at the bottom, and I did that also with the one that said So Great. So I'll do that with a couple of them, and yeah, and some of them are just left circle. So one thing that I did want to make mention that you're not going to see in this video, but you will see in the photos, is I added more letter stickers. So when I went to take photos of this layout, I was like, I feel like that photo with my dog, I felt like it was missing something, and because of all the white, and so I wanted to add something, and I decided to add more letter stickers. And then I also did it with the photo that's just of the snow that's up at the top by the everyday card. So I did it with that one as well. So you will see that in the photos that I think I put love by the dog. I was trying to be very selective because, I only had so many letters left. And I think maybe I put yes on the other one. So yes and love. But anyway, I thought that it actually rounded out the spread really well, and it became another design point. It became another triangle that I created. So, like I said, a little bit easier for the viewer to go through the layout. So now is the portion where I do all of my journaling. So it's one thing that I've started doing, I would say, in the last year or so, is just doing all of my journaling all at once. So for this card, I decided to talk about, or just put really big and bold, that it was a snow day. We rarely have snow days here where school is actually canceled. In fact, I don't even think that school was actually technically canceled. They basically say, hey, if you can't come, don't come. But they definitely want people that don't have like a warm place to be. They want them to make sure that they have somewhere to go. So I'm not sure it was school was technically canceled, but we did not go to school that day. It was maybe like 15 or 16 inches that we ended up getting. And it's just super fun. And Megan and I, we lived probably like half a mile from a little shopping center that has like a breakfast place and some other shops. And we ended up just walking there in our snow gear and, just sitting down and having breakfast together. So that was actually really fun to do. And then she ended up going snowing with her friends. And it does look like this snow day is my entire week. And I think that it is. I'm trying to think. I did talk about some of the other things that went on that week, but this was basically the gist of the week, which was we got like a ton of snow. So I did tell some stories that don't have photos that go along with it, but that's very typical for my project life. So anyway, you guys, that is going to be it for this spread. Hopefully you guys got some inspiration. Like I said, I will have another layout, another weekly spread using the Documenter kit. So definitely look for that coming up. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for joining me today. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. And if you like what you saw, please give this video a thumbs up. All right, you guys, we will see you next time. Bye.